I met a gypsy.
The success of the team as well that you're involved in, it just really seemed like there was a real ascension, and you kind of came in at the right time. So riding for Star, it's so different to when you rode for Star.
Oh yeah, way different.
But riding for them and then the 5 years of a team manager role, like what was different? What did they do in the time between when you rode for them and when you started working as a team manager?
I think that they had a better budget and the same drive. Honestly, Bobby and Brad had the same drive that they did now in 08. And I mean, we were,
That's
I think a good night.
Huh?
And yeah, dude, it was crazy. And like a good day for us was a 5th. Like that was like basically winning the race then. Like that was good enough. Like, I mean, I was mostly getting 20th. And so it's like, when you think about it then, their mindset never changed off that end goal. It's like we were talking about. It's like you're the underdog, but you literally you can't and won't be denied. Like they were going to claw to the top. Brad and Bob were going to claw to the top no matter what happened. Like they both had this burning desire in them that they weren't going to be denied, period.
That's got to be inspiring to be around those kind of people.
No, it really is, and there's no for an answer, no stone unturned. And like I said, you learn a hell of a lot. They taught me a lot, respect the hell out of them, always will. And I know it's mutual. So, yeah, it was cool to be around that for sure.
So what did your role look like when you first got there? And like, did you know what you were getting into? Like, what were that first year like for you?
Lots of learning and lots of questions, dude. Like, honestly, I probably annoyed the absolute hell out of Brad for probably 2 years. Just asking him, and I was being his right-hand man, essentially. And like I said, any question I had, I went to him because I knew he knew it. And he'd been around forever. He'd been at the Star since the beginning. So, yeah, I would just lean on him on anything that I had a question about. And like I said, there's trial and error in anything. I made mistakes and still do. So, yeah, it was more so you're just diving so deep into this deep end where, I kind of had a perception of what it was. And I was like, wow, this is gnarly. Like there's a lot on your plate, man. And it's heavy at times. Like I said, definitely a lot busier not racing than when you are. You think you're working hard, but yeah, come to the race shop for a year, you'll learn pretty quickly that I'd much rather go to the gym and ride my dirt bike any day of the week.
For sure. So what does the role itself look like? Like, what was your day-to-day involvement? And then does that like kind of change over the years as you get like more adept to being in the team?
I feel like you just have to, on that job, it's just wearing as many hats as you can, right? Like it's booking flights, it's ordering parts, it's making sure these riders are here for this photo shoot, coordinating that, then sponsor relations, contract negotiations with the riders and sponsors, going to the amateur races, the same thing over, developing, with the amateur team, with the amateur parents, being involved with the amateur riders. I think up until about 2 months ago, I've had someone living with me on the team since I've been here.
Really?
So I've always had at least a rider living with me at some point, and I liked it, and helping them learn or get their feet wet out here until they can get on their feet and then move on. Like Romano lived with me when he was 14, so I was basically dad, and his parents, they're awesome, man. They always take care of me. Nick still calls me now. And I think they respect me a lot for being there for their kid at a young age. And like I said, I wanted him to, same thing as the big brother we were talking about earlier. It's like, don't make the mistakes I made. This is what you do. Use your head here and grow from there. So, yeah, I mean, it was kind of a lot of hats, watering the test track. I don't know how to specifically say the exact role, but it's just making sure that you make everybody to try and be as seamless as their day can possibly be, with the exception of the normal bullshit that they're gonna have to deal with.
Yeah. That makes sense. Like you plug yourself in as a guy that's been there and done that on the rider end, and it's almost like you just try and make things as smooth as possible. And you probably knew the things that irritated you as a rider, or the things that left you wanting a little bit in a team environment as a rider. And I think too that there's an element of, and this is kind of one of the like things that I would kind of always think about with guys like yourself and Tyler Keefe, right? Is, all right, Roger DaCosta, he's a fucking old man. And it's like when he was 20 and 19, that was the 70s, the 60s. So it's like, it's different. Like, being a young man in 2021 is a fucking lot different than being a young man in 1960. And, times changed. The role of the rider has changed in that time. The demands on the rider have changed. So I think that, it was one of the things that, I'd spoke on it a bunch of times. Like, I think Wil Hahn is one of the most underrated team managers in the game, because you've got this guy that, like, he just did it. He was just there. He's just been through the same shit. He's moved to California from Texas. He's been through winning championships. He's been through this amateur feeder system. Like, there's so much relatability that you bring to the table that nobody else can. Tyler definitely can to a point, but he didn't have the career that you had. And I think that level of relatability, and then I guess for you to then explain the role that you were kind of playing, it's like you just knew what you probably wished you had as a rider and team manager at times.
Yeah, and I think I got a lot of respect from the riders because, I'd go training with them too. There was plenty of times where we would go race mountain bikes last year, especially during COVID, when we weren't sure when it was going to return to normal, or if it was going to, or whatever the case. And like seeing that, like, I'm down to dig, like, let's go. Like, how much harder can you dig? Can you beat me? You should be able to beat me. I'm the manager. I'm not a rider anymore. And, I think they saw that kind of dedication to me. And what I was trying to teach them wasn't like trying to beat them. It was trying to show them, like, dude, it isn't so much everything that about, like, oh, the perfect bike rider, this or that. You still got to be able to dig and want it.
Yeah. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.